When I turned 16, I started my first job working for the City of Vaughan as an integration counselor for special needs children. I always felt comfortable working for the city, but I quickly recognized that not all organizations are able to provide the same job satisfaction without the strong, unionized voice of its employees. Unions were born from the uprising of employees wanting to be treated equally compared to others. After the First World War, many men had to go back into the working force to provide for their families, where they experienced many labor conflicts. This led to over 400 strikes across Canada in 1919, including the Winnipeg General Strike, which lasted for 6 weeks, all led by union parties. Union membership grew rapidly as many men were fighting for their right to better working conditions. Even through the 1930s and the Great Depression, the union force was still alive and thriving, fighting against eviction and providing support for employment insurance. By 1950, union membership had increased to over 1 million members. In today's world, unions have become pivotal in the workplace for both unionized and non-unionized workers, using many different strategies such as collective bargaining. This past year, we saw the power of unions in action with the Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario, the ETFO, and the Ontario Secondary School Teachers Federation, the OSSTF, both threatening the provincial government with strikes. The teachers were fighting for smaller class sizes, an increase in wages, and more funding for vulnerable students. Without the power of these unions, teachers would struggle to get their wishes to the government, which would lead to an unjust working situation for many members of the workforce. The advantages of having a union, such as an increase in wages and better benefits, are well known, but sometimes people forget to see how essential they are to lower income and minority families. In the past, at a time when my ancestors lived through segregation, unions would have regularly turned them down from joining and being represented in the same way as their non-segregated colleagues. Today, the unions are now composed of lower-income workforces and minorities such as African Americans, Native Americans, Latinos, and so on, which were the same class of workers who were not represented by the unions in the days of segregation. Without the strength of unions, many minorities would not have access to the benefits the middle class are accustomed to. Overall, the benefit of having unions to the citizens of Canada have been immeasurable. They have allowed us to fight for our rights and not to be drowned out by powerful government officials. We can never lose sight of the importance of unions, as they will always be there to give a voice to those who would have no voice.